Hello everybody, I am your host, the One Up Havoc, and welcome to another episode of Oath and Felghana. Now, this episode's going to be a little different from our usual, and that is because what you are watching right now is a post-commentary of today's episode, rather than a live commentary, which is what I would normally do. And the reason why I went with a post for this particular episode, I mean, I have to be completely honest with you. I wasn't feeling... I wasn't really at 100%. You know what I'm saying? I had stuff to do during that day. I was pretty blasted tired by the time I got around to making this video. And when I listened to the playback footage, I just wasn't at all satisfied with how it turned out. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to delete this footage because, one, I already saved the progress, which would require me to start all the way over at the beginning if I want to get up to this point. So, on a side note there, make multiple saves if you're going to be a Let's Player. But the other reason is because, I mean, this was a failsafe that I had in mind beforehand. If the pre-recording doesn't work out the first time, just make a post commentary of yourself and, you know, work with it from there. So this is why this video is going to be post commentary from here, well, on this episode at least. Anyway, we need to get back to business and talk about what was going on for the past few minutes here. So the next area that we are supposed to go to, which you see me running around and killing slime enemies at the moment, is the abandoned mines. Well, deeper in the abandoned mines anyway. Before you should go in here, there was a part in the video where you saw me using the tornado magic to get across this one area in the other part of the mines, and that allowed me to get this pendant. You are supposed to take that pendant over to this old lady that Chester's sister is currently with at the moment. You talk to her. She gives you some kind of like item which allows you to basically see everything in the dark, and that's the reason why there seems to be a bit of a rave party going on while I'm running around and killing everything. Aside from that, once you got that going on, go to the weapon shop, upgrade your armor and your equipment. If you can buy anything from there, definitely grab it when you can. I do have enough gold to get the armor actually, but I choose not to do it because I want to wait until I get to the bottom of the mine, so when I work back, I'm not going to have to start from the very beginning. And that's just something I generally do. I don't like making too many return trips if I really don't have to. I'll definitely do it before a boss fight though, because there's always going to be a save monument like right there before the battle. And also, well, first of all, I'm having a good old time jumping around and figuring out where the heck I'm going with this. But another thing I should also mention is that I'm killing a lot of enemies so that I can keep up in level. Now, this sequence here that you're seeing right now, it's supposed to be, I believe it is supposed to be, well actually I can't remember what exactly it was that was talking to Adol. It was just a mysterious voice. And what happened here is that by the end of this dialogue, we're actually supposed to be getting a upgrade. Now, I wish I could tell you what that upgrade is, but I don't want to spoil it yet before the footage actually shows what it is. So let's just wait a little bit. Okay, so it is Genos. For those who don't know who Genos is, and I'm pretty sure you will know who Genos is, he's basically this really powerful warrior that sealed this fearsome beast that put this whole island in danger at one point. Well, I should say put his original island in danger at one point. We'll reveal what all that stuff is later on in the game. But he is pretty much entrusting Adol to carry out his mission for the most part and seal the calamity once again. Anyway, the item we've just obtained allows Adol to double jump, which is freaking awesome. The double jump is a very useful ability as it allows Adol to reach areas that he couldn't reach before, and on top of that you get a lot more use out of your magic tornado with the double jump ability. So having the ability to double jump is really nice, really nice. And also it powers up the ability to impale monsters. Like it increases the what was it? I would say the stun duration and the chance to stun an enemy once you impale them. Anyway, from here on out, it's gonna be a complete massacre from this part of the dungeon all the way to the next. So I would say sit back and enjoy the time I spend killing a lot of enemies, and also I do get a decent amount of Ravel ore here as well, because there are a decent amount of treasure chests in this dungeon that has Ravel ore. The enemies you face here are also a bit, I would say a bit troublesome. They're not completely dangerous and they won't overwhelm you like they have in previous dungeons. But if you're not careful, they can definitely take a life off of you. Your best bet really is just to pay attention to your surroundings, use a lot of jump attacks if need be, and also your wind magic comes in handy very well here. And don't forget, if all else fails, you know, use your Kaioken. I didn't use the Kaioken as often as I should in this dungeon, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. When it comes to the Kaioken ability in this game, I often forget that it exists. I'm not even fronting here. Like, I try to show it off as much as I possibly can, but the way that I play the game, I've never really been in a huge situation where I constantly have to activate the boost mode. And yeah, that's what it's originally called. There just wasn't really that much of a situation where I have to activate it, and that's either because I am over leveled or because I'm just that good of a player. Like, it could be one of the two here. Not trying to toot my own horn or nothing, but I am no stranger when it comes to these games. So I'm not saying the Kaioken is completely useless or anything. It definitely has its uses, and it could be a total lifesaver. But if you really know what you're doing, you're not gonna use it as often as you think you would. Now, the kind of enemies you encounter here, aside from the slime and the reptiles that like to shoot stuff at you, you also encounter these, I'm just gonna go ahead and call them hammer orcs or whatever they're called, because I have no idea what these monsters are called. All I know is that they're tall and they wield hammers. It is pretty hard to avoid their attacks unless you keep your distance. Like, if you see him winding up his hammer, just back off. I've tried juking around him while staying close. I tried running around and that didn't work, and the only time I've really been able to avoid the hammer swings is if I'm away from the monster. So staying close is not an option. And another thing I should also point out is that if you see them charge up their hammer longer than normal, they're going to slam it down, and then they're going to do a series of hammer strikes right after that. So when you see that happen, you're better off just running away and letting that monster do its thing. And you will see these monsters do that attack while I'm running around and killing everything. Aside from that, there really isn't much else to say about this dungeon. I have to say that I will consider this to be the least interesting dungeon out of all of them that we're going to be covering in this game. Because really, it's just a dark place that needs a little light here and there, and it's got a swarm of creatures. And the only thing noteworthy about this place is the fact that you get a double jump ability. So it really ain't much else to say. Oh, and these floating jellyfish things, yeah, they're pretty annoying. I mean, that's probably just because of the fact that I have yet to really figure out how to take out flying enemies like that. So if there's anything else that I should talk about, Well, okay, I guess I could fill you in on a couple of projects I'm working on. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is the Too Many Games video. Now, I may upload that Too Many Games video before this video, and if I did not, well, here's a good time to mention that the Too Many Games video is definitely on its way. I know it's like 2 weeks after the con. I definitely should have gotten on it a lot earlier, but you know how it is. You know, life tends to get in the way here and there, and other projects pop up that really need to get done. But yes, other than that, the Too Many Games con is on its way. It's practically halfway done as we speak, and I'm gonna work on it as soon as I'm done working on this video. So you have that to look forward to, and I definitely had a lot of fun in that con. It was like every year that con has been getting bigger and better. I've been going since, I would say, the second con outing they've done. Probably the second time they've had it, that's when I started going to it. And I pretty much made it a tradition to go like every year, because you never know what you'll run into. Like I remember the one that I went to prior before this one, I ran into Gerard and Jared from Pro Jared, along with a lot of other YouTubers that I'm not gonna reveal because I want to save that for the video that's coming. I mean, some I've met like time and time again because they're reappearing faces. But like I said, you'll see all that when the video is done. So there's that in the works. I am still making review videos. That is something that's never going to go away. I love doing video game reviews. The only reason why I've been slacking on my reviews for the videos, however, is because I want to be able to have a good camera so I can so you guys can see me on screen while I'm reviewing the game. I mean, the first one I did, it was alright. What really bothered me is the fact that I didn't have any camera shots of myself talking directly to you. And I feel that, you know, I really want to be able to do that, basically. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have a good camera to work with right now. I mean, I do have a camera, but the problem with it is that the quality is super low. Like, it is an old camera. It doesn't even have any of the HD settings that newer cameras have. So if I were to use it, you would see a very blurry image and everything, and it just didn't look good. I'm all about putting out quality videos. Like, I'm not trying to put out a video with like really crappy quality, and honestly, I'm better off just waiting to get my hands on an HD camera. Now, it's not going to be the best camera, I know this, but it's definitely going to be a lot better than what I am working with. I mean, I was even considering using my cell phone as a camera, but I figured, no, let's wait until we get another camera going, and then we'll use it. So, the next game that I do plan on putting out on my channel as a review is, of course, the second Ape Escape. In fact, I'm going to be reviewing all 3 games first in that order. And after I'm finished with those reviews, well, I can't tell you what the rest of them are because that's just going to give away what I'm going to be doing. Aside from that, another thing that I've also have working on my channel, you know, Sonic Adventure is still going on. I'm currently recording the story for Tails and Knuckles. I might get both of their recordings done by the time I even get on Tails' story. Like, recording for Sonic Adventure recording for Sonic Adventure is pretty easy for the most part, and that's just because the game itself is pretty short, so you get a lot done when you're recording for that one in particular. So that is definitely on its way. And I should also mention that there is another channel that I'm a part of, well, myself and a few friends are a part of as well, called Chaotix Mayhem. Now, this channel contains myself Andy HG, if any of you are familiar with his channel. And then there's also Helios, who makes appearances on his channel as well. Now, with that channel is, it hasn't started yet. It's already up, but I haven't put any videos out for it yet because I haven't recorded anything for it at the moment. But that's going to change soon because we finally got some time to get together and get some videos done. So I will definitely post a link in the info bar so you guys can see what it is and how to get there. And I promise you, there will be videos uploaded pretty soon. Until then, just stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun with this as I struggle to make it across this gap here. And let me see, is there anything else I should also mention that I'm doing for this channel as well? Oh, that's one other thing. I'm also going to be doing a few box openings. And once again, because I don't have an actual camera, they're not going to be the best thing in the world. In fact, they're going to be really... Let's just put it this way. I decided, you know what, screw it. I want to have fun with this. I don't feel like waiting forever to get a better camera for this thing. So I'm going to be using my phone, unfortunately, when I'm opening these boxes. But I promise you it's still going to be worth watching just because of how silly I make it look. So you'll have that to look forward to as well. There's a lot of things coming out for this channel, and I actually can't wait to get to them. Now, as you can see, my armor has changed like for the past second there. And that's because before I went into this boss fight, I upgraded my add-all and got everything I needed to get done. So I'm now a lot stronger. The boss we're facing here is actually a two-parter boss. The first phase that we're seeing is just a worm-like enemy who spits out these crystallized rocks and will attack you when you get close. I'm going to tell you this right now, you want to take out those crystallized rocks as soon as he spits them out. The reason for this is because those rocks will spit out a beam that will ricochet with each other. And the beam, when it's not ricocheted at all, it doesn't do anything. Like, you see right there that the damage is abysmal if you just take a hit from the beam itself. But if that beam is ricocheted, it can split, and some may home in on you, some may not, and it does more damage when it splits apart like that. Once you get its health halfway down, it's gonna dissipate, and the actual boss is gonna show up. Now, this is where things get pretty bullet helly because of the fact that it's going to shoot a lot of projectiles at you. But you know what? I had a lot of fun fighting this boss just because it's really fun to be able to dodge these bullets and not taking any damage while you're doing so. And I don't know, it just leaves a really huge satisfying feeling when you're doing this stuff. So, to simply put, just avoid the bullets that it shoots out, use your wind element if you have to. Honestly, I don't think I really needed to use my wind element there. I probably would have been fine without having to use a tornado. But if you feel like you're going to get hit, you know, go ahead and use it. And the only way that you can damage this boss is when the rocks around it break apart. And that's when you're going to be able to go in there and get your damage output in. To avoid what I like to call the scatter shot, just stay far away and bob in and out, move across the battlefield, and don't stay in one place. It's a lot easier to avoid if you do that. And if you feel like if you feel like you're going to get hit, just hold on to your wind element until like the tail end of its attack, and you can avoid the rest of the bullets. And then once its jewels split apart again, just go in there and get as much damage output as you can. At first glance, the boss can seem pretty intimidating because of all the bullets it shoots out, but they're really easy to avoid. As long as you stay in the air, you'll be fine. Anyway, The most effective spell in this fight is fire when you're fighting the worm form, because you could just shoot at it from a distance. And as you can see here, wind is your best friend on the second phase. Also, pay attention to the shot patterns when it's attacking, because you'll never know when it's going to go into another attack out of nowhere and try to sneak one in on you, like what it tried to do just now. I don't know how I was able to catch on to its shenanigans and avoid everything like that, but then again, this is me playing the game without having to say anything while I'm playing, so a lot of my concentration is of course on the boss fight. Anyway, after I do a little dance there, I pretty much get the next item, and we're practically finished here, so all that's left now is to head into the next area once I figure out where that is, and we can continue on our adventure from there. With that, we've got the darkness statue. Well, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I am the One Up Havoc, and as always, play until your thumbs fall off. I'll see you guys later.